Hold on, hold on. I've got a very anxious friend who wants to share what he's been doing recently. So hello everybody on the live stream on the Essential RC YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. So I'm sitting here in the comfort of my own home. Now, Essential RC YouTube channel is primarily about two things. The first thing that we've been doing a lot of recently is reviewing, products that we're sent and products that we buy. So for example, I was out today flying the Freewing Jazz 39 EDF jet for the first time. The Griffin rather, that's how you should pronounce it. And it was fantastic. I also flew my FPV converted Spitfire. So my Avios Spitfire up there that's got the new DJI FPV system in it. Again, absolutely fantastic. Was a lot of fun. So half of the channel is about that. The other half is me going around shows and events around the UK and filming the action. And part of that is filming some of these amazing models that are flown by some of the best pilots in the UK. Now, one of those pilots is a guy I know quite well and enjoy seeing flying each time he comes to these events, a guy called Steve Johnson. And he's kindly said that he would do this live stream with me and show us a couple of the projects that he's working on at the moment, because it's, under the COVID pandemic situation, lockdown that we're about to go into tomorrow, no shows, no events, but people are still working hard on the new stuff that they're going to fly next year at these shows and events. So without further ado, let me bring in Steve. Hold on. How do I do this? I do it like that. Steve, good evening. I'm very well, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving us your time this evening. Again, as I was saying, it's great when we see you fly your fantastic radio controlled model aircraft, mostly jets, right? But I know you've got a turboprop as well. Oh, it's gone? PC-21 or PC-9?
A seasonal and then move on, and this Sukhoi was set to take its place, so yeah, it's always moving. They're always moving around a bit.
Yeah,
and,
sure, I understand that. We're all like that, aren't we? Sorry, and I hadn't turned on your audio, so they missed the first few seconds. So okay. Bear in mind, people, this is the first time we've done this. And we did a quick rehearsal yesterday, didn't we, Steve, to iron out the kinks. But they're saying that they can hear you now, so that's fantastic. Now, Steve, to start off with, what I was going to do was actually show some of the stuff that you have flown at the shows before we look at that fantastic looking jet behind you. Cool. And you giving us a walk around that in your hangar. So I'm just going to skip to this view, and it's not showing the browser for some weird reason. Told you this was live. Bear with me. Oh, there we go.
Oscar for this.
Yeah, I knew things are going to go wrong. So we're starting off, Steve, yes, with the Paratech Viper Jet, which is probably, I filmed this back in 2015. I'm going to play this.
Yeah.
Do you remember that far back?
Yeah. I remember that plane well, and a good friend of mine, Simon Potter, owns it at the moment, and it is an amazing aeroplane. It was one of the first large jets I owned, and there isn't anything you can fault about it. They just keep delivering loads and loads of fun, and they're really, they're beautiful to fly. They're fantastic, really. That plane there, we had it painted in a pearlescent purple, and it actually, to see it in the pictures, it looks really nice. But even in up close and personal in the flesh, it's even better. It's really nice to see the video actually. It's a fantastic plane though.
I think you fly it better than Potter though. I think he lacks a little bit of finesse, doesn't he, Mr. Potter?
Oh yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I think I'm sure this plane's for sale at the moment. I'm not.
Oh really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now I have to say, the one guy I think who flies this better than anyone else, and I think does he have this or a slight from a different manufacturer? Mr. Jeff White.
Oh no, that's my old one, Dusty. That was my. It's quite funny because I owned that as well.
Oh, what, the one that he now flies?
Viper Jet Master.
But would you not agree? I mean, whenever I film that guy flying, so smooth. It's ridiculous.
Jeff is amazing to watch. I always enjoy watching the old bugger fly. And always, it's amazing. Precision is
it's
pretty
age
much
and maturity, isn't it? That's what counts when you fly something that smooth. Right. Okay. So that's the. I mean, it's just nice it's fun to watch that fly. But let's move on to the next one. So what's next? So F-104 Starfighter.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Now this was called the Widowmaker, wasn't it? It claims the lives of a lot of full-size pilots, didn't it? Because of its flight characteristics.
Well, in some places.
Sorry?
It could be called the Divorce Maker as well.
You've got it up there on the shelf, haven't you?
Yeah. There you go. There it is.
Yeah. Do you enjoy flying this one? You said to me yesterday, it's like driving what?
Well, it's like a dragster, really. There's a great picture I see today actually on Facebook, and it was like three smoke trails in the sky, and there was one straight one across the top of the screen, and there was like one curly one and one really curly, and it was basically saying F-104 was the straight one, and then you know what I mean. It just goes blast in a straight line. It isn't really aerobatic. You just blast up and down, around in circles, rolls and reversals, and I've been really lucky. 2 flame outs for this plane and not damaged it.
You got it both on both of those flame outs. You got it back down on the runway in one piece.
Yeah, straight. I was very lucky in the position where the motor went, and it really is a nice machine. And the more you speed it up, the more it gets better.
Flies better fast, you're saying, yeah?
Yeah, it seems to like track a lot better when you get the speed right up on it. When you slow it down, it sort of just drags itself around a bit. But yeah, it is a really fantastic plane.
I think you said this to me yesterday, but Mordhorst on the chat here is saying that it glides like a brick. And you said that to me yesterday, that when you get that dead stick, when the turbine quits, not that they tend to these days, you have to head to the deck and get it down as quickly as possible, right?
You basically, your first thing is just to literally get that gear down and then just point it to this part of the field you can fly, you can find, you know, and just get it straight down, pull back on the stick, and keep flaring it until she settles on the ground. My
calf Eurosport was like that as well. I mean, it just no glide characteristics. You just had to like turn straight down and get it down. Right. Okay.
It is basically straight out. It literally is like a brick. But yeah, it's just a lovely. When you get it in the air and it starts flying, and you that silhouette.
So distinctive.
It's lovely. Yeah, it is. But flying it isn't. There's nothing really scary about flying it, as in hot flying it in the sky. It's not. There's no. It's not horrible to fly. It just goes around, and it's just like anything else. I think any capable model pilot could just take it up and enjoy it.
Now help me out here. It is an especially long model, isn't it? How long is that? 4 meters or something like that? So how do you transport that type of thing to these events you fly at?
That wall there is a standard. It's a 6 meter wall. That is, and you can see there it's so she's about 4 meters long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you got a long wheelbase? Do you own a long wheelbase van to get these to and from events?
I've got a long wheelbase VW Transporter, and I opted for the twin seats at the front, and that goes in nicely. Now,
Right.
this plane is designed really well. The tail comes off here, so the tail unbolts and it comes off on this red line, and then also the nose cone comes off, so it comes down to around about 3 meters in length in all, and it fits in the van quite nicely.
Right. Then is that the only jet you can get in, or can you put one on above on a shelf? Or
yeah, well, when I went to the show, what I'd see you in the summer, what was that called, Stowe Marie's, we took the big Cougar there, that's the biggest model I own at the moment, but it's in quite a few bits. And I took the Starfighter as well, and they both went in the van quite happily. Sorry, I ain't got COVID. I'm just
smoker's cough.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can get them in. The more you put in, the more you risk of damaging them. I remember I went to the Nationals one year, and I got the Starfighter in, the PC-21, and the F-100, all in the one van. And I don't know how I did it because, well, I got them in, but it was a bit tight, and there was a bit of hanger rash once I got home. So I try and just be sensible now, and you can only fly one at a time.
Sure. Okay. Now, one other question, which I need to ask.
Yeah.
These are pretty valuable, quite an investment in these. So for the rest of us mere mortals, when we fly, like for example, when I was flying my new Freewing Jazz 39 Gripen today, I get nervous flying that for the first time. But this, you're talking about an investment of about, I'm not going to be rude enough to ask you how much it costs, right? It's five figures, right?
Yeah, they are pretty expensive.
So okay, so when it comes to a maiden flight, that's not the same as flying a Foamie for the first time, is it?
Right. Now, sometimes I jump. I when it comes to a maiden flight, sometimes I actually give it to a friend because I get too nervous. And I know it sounds a bit strange, but like a friend of mine, Mark Hinton, he's always been very helpful. Sometimes I just go, just do it, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to you. But at least I can sort of watch it go down in glory. But I test flew the Starfighter myself. I obviously test flown the Mephisto myself last week. There's a video going about on YouTube of that one with me and Steve going around. And then this one hasn't been in the air yet. This one's waiting patiently for the gods of the LMA to grant it to fly.
Now, that is because it's over 20 kg, obviously, yes?
Yeah, this one, I've weighed it, and I've only got a rough estimate of the weight, but it's just under 30 kilos. I'm not too sure. It might just go over, but I've just got to get the proper set of scales on it. The Cougar over there, that weighs 44 kilos, that bundle of aeroplane.
Wow. It's heavy.
Yeah, that's going to put a big hole in the ground if it
don't say things like that.
That'll be all right. It'll be interesting.
Now, okay, so the other thing here that we're seeing on this 104 is the afterburner on the back. You are some people are pro, some people are anti that type thing, but obviously you like it. You like the glow effect.
Yeah, I like all of that. It sort of
adds to the scale.
Yeah, it adds to it, and it's a good quality one. That one. It's the plane's got a really nice light set on it. It really does light up well, and I can actually show you the undercarriage on this plane because it is a work of art. The undercarriage. I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, I can quickly show you.
No, go for it. We're showing the video and
just there.
And you as well. I'll wind back a little bit.
Right, here we go. So this is the gear bay. So you can see under there, it's quite a complex undercarriage system.
Oh. So it's a bit like an F-16 in terms of its engineering, yeah?
pretty. Well, obviously they must have modelled the F-16 on the F-104, really, because it was before the F-16. But very similar. Yeah, very similar.
You're breaking up a little bit there, Steve. Your audio is breaking up. Oh no, you've come back.
Not much in it, you know. These huge legs, they're not light. They come up here with the system and fold inside. Then obviously this main gear folds up. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and yeah, so that's all pneumatic. And the little leg are pretty straightforward, but yeah,
all
the
right,
main
well,
gear on
Steve,
it is
let's move on. I want to talk about this next model.
Can't really. The cockpit detail and the pilot's amazing. It's made by a chap, Wilson, from Made Pilots, and they are exceptional.
Yes.
Quality they are, yeah. All handmade in the UK.
I see him publicising his pilots a lot. Right, we're moving on because the next one I've got
to go in another plane.
Can you hear me, Steve? Can you hear me?
Oh, are we frozen?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. Yeah, have I got you?
Yes, I can hear you. So I'm playing now the calf models J10.
No, something's gone down. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, something's not right with the internet. Can you hear me?
Yes. It worked for about 10
Hello.
minutes.
Hello.
Hello, Steve. Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm back.
Hooray!
Yeah, I think the internet took a bend there.
I think it did. You went a little bit choppy, but...
Sorry. What's going on?
That's okay, don't panic.
Oh, this ain't this. I can hear you loud and clear, mate.
Okay, good. So we're currently showing the video of you flying your calf models J10.
Oh, no.
Tell you what I'll do on the WebEx. It's such a shame that Steve's having a few connection issues. It seems he's down in his basement and he's having a bit of some Wi-Fi issues. But while he's reconnecting, what I wanted to show this particular moment where Steve was flying his J10, and I mean it probably looks like a well rehearsed manoeuvre. And I'm going to do this again. So he's coming down high alpha. This is a thrust vector jet. And that is about as low as you can get. I mean, he really was on the edge of disaster. It looks like we might have lost him, unfortunately. And I'm readmitting him. Let's see if Steve's back. Are you back, Steve? You're currently muted.
Yeah, I'm back now.
Excellent. Okay, so we're watching do you remember the calf models J10? And what's Louis, the club that Louis flies at? And you fly.
That is actually the club that Louis flies at. Is my local, Louis' local. That's how I got to know Louis.
But what I was just showing, do you remember that moment last year? I think it was the year before last, where you came perilously close to the ground.
Yeah, I remember that, and a little bit of a handbrake skid, and yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed that. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed that.
there was a noticeable shuffle on your feet.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was a funny moment actually. I remember you guys all like running for cover,
No,
And,
no. To be honest, no. Give me credit. Me and my fellow YouTuber Pete Coxon, T. Bob Borat, we did not move. We are very rehearsed at these things, and not moving when we see something really good like that happen.
You know, you had confidence in me, didn't you?
Yeah, I think of course. I mean, you know there wasn't going to be a disaster. It was nice. So this is an amazing jet, Steve. That J10. I would love one of these. So flat spins, hovering.
Do you know what? I've had a few of them, and they are fantastic aircraft. Absolutely fantastic. They're made by Craft Models, and yeah, they are really good fun. I think I've had about 4 of them. I've killed it. Yeah, I've crashed 2 and 2. But they are really, really good. The thing what I had problems with is the noise what they make, and they make this like horrible howling noise. And wherever I took it, it used to get frowned upon. I don't know if you can hear it on the video.
It's howl. It's so that's a side effect of the fuselage, is it, and the engine and the air.
That's exactly right. I think if like revisit, I've got another model which is coming very soon from Steve Elias, which is an Elite Aerosports Wraith, which is gonna perform. Look, there you go. Just watching the video where it skidded around. And the Wraith is going to be pretty much like that. But with the J10, they are still the ultimate fun machine. But it is the sound what made me sort of leave it, because you sort of everywhere, and everyone was like, I love it, but the noise is just going to cause us a problem.
Oh, okay. So to the extent that you wouldn't be allowed to fly
it. 220 size turbine in them, and they're very light. They usually come in around about, I think there is around about 10 kilos weight all up. They're very, very light aircraft.
Okay. Steve, we're going to move on and talk about the A10. Can you hear me, Steve? I think it's quite possible that Steve cannot hear us. He might have dropped out again. Again, not particularly good Wi-Fi signal down to his man cave. So I will continue until he returns.
Hello?
Oh, are you back, Steve? No. Okay, I will continue the action.
Actually get into a real typhoon, but we've got the next best thing.
I think this is a Skymaster A10.
Simulator, and that's up by
That's Steve.
Hello, Tom?
Yes, can you hear me, Steve?
I'm not getting.
Hello?
The A10.
Can't
For
hear you,
me,
Steve.
there's not much what beats it. It was just such an amazing aircraft for like swooping and using the sharp, crisp rolls it does, and the way the way it just looks in the sky. It's one of the ultimates for me. It really.
Steve, it has 2 engines, so this is where we get slightly more expensive.
From the plane is a work, so you can in and out and get them powered up right, with good powerful engines. The people I know who own them.
Again, not sure if we've got Steve. I think he's gone. We've got 2 Steve. We've got 2 Steves. So anyway, we're watching action of ace pilot Steve Johnson flying his Skymaster A10. Personally, I fly turbine aircraft, but flying something with 2 expensive turbine engines in it, I think that's a bit beyond me. I'd be, my knees would be knocking together. So I'm hoping Steve will rejoin us imminently. He's there at the bottom, but Steve, can you hear us? Unfortunately, we've lost Steve. Ah. Hold on. There he is. Steve, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Hooray.
I don't know what the hell's...
That's okay.
Internet flaky as a cornetto.
What a very apt analogy. So we were just watching your A10 in action at Weston Park.
Yeah.
And he's gone.
Yeah. That's these planes are just, yeah, they are pretty much one of the oh, you're kidding. No way.
Yeah. 50k jet, £2 internet.
Dom, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? What I suggest we do...
You got me?
Yes. Yes. Hello.
Oh, mate, this...
What we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen,
tonight.
we're going to club together and we're going to get Steve some decent Wi-Fi.
What the hell's causing it?
Okay. It was good yesterday. It's such a shame. We rehearsed this yesterday and the quality of the connection, the sound and everything like that, and it was perfect. But unfortunately, I think probably is...
Hello, I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me now. Better not say anything bad about me.
Oh, joy.
Steve.
Dom?
Yes.
Hello, Dom?
Yes. Steve. Yeah. So I don't think we're going to get any further with Steve. It's such a shame because I was quite looking forward to seeing it, to him showing us around his Skymaster Su-30, which is this amazing. Well, it's the latest military jet from Skymaster, who, as we all know, is, you know, one of the leaders in manufacturing these types of jets. And Steve actually splashed out and bought the plug and play version. I think P&P, is that what you call it? And you pay extra for that, but there's less work to do when you get it. So literally, I think all he's got to do is drop in the turbines. So Steve, you back with us?
Yeah, I'm very sorry about that.
Steve, we're going to club together. We're going to club together, and we're going to get you some new Wi-Fi for the new year.
Okay, if we can do donations, yeah. I don't know what's going on because it was working absolutely lovely earlier.
It was.
And, yeah.
These things happen. We'll just roll with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, your A10 has just landed.
Yes.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
It was a nice flight.
Yeah, it's a fantastic plane that, and it's still it's a friend of mine, Daz Morris, has got it, and
Okay.
he's very close to taking it up for a fly. We've just got to wait for the lockdown to end, and he's really keen to experience the plane. And yeah, it's I definitely know that there's definitely going to be another A10 in this hangar in the future because they are exceptional.
For us mere mortals, again, who can't splash out 5 figures for an A10, there are 2 good Foamie A10s on the market. It's the Freewing A10 and the FMS A10. Now, I have owned both, and I love the FMS A10 is amazing. Single 6-cell lipo, whereas the Freewing is 2.
They're fantastic. I've just someone's just had one off me, a Freewing, the 12S one. Well, it's not 12, it's 2 6S packs, but
yes.
Yeah, it is fantastic. It's a proper, it's just like the one I'm flying there in the video. It's a model.
I will tell you, the FMS one is even better. It's slightly smaller, but it only takes a single pack.
Yeah.
And it's lighter, and and you're less likely to break the undercarriage because of that. Yeah. So if you were to get another one, I would recommend the FMS A10 V2. Very, very good. Right, we're going to move on.
I'll tell you what I was going to say.
Yes.
Talking about subject of Foamies.
Yes.
That F-22 from Freewing is the best Foamie jet I've ever flown. It is just incredible.
Which really one? Sorry, I missed that. Which one?
The Freewing F-22.
Right.
I've had quite a few Foamie jets this year, and that is the very best.
Oh, I've not flown that one.
There's not much what beats that, and everyone I've let fly it can't believe how slow you can get it to fly, and you can do some real crazy stuff with it. The SU-30 is good, but not even in the same league as the F-22. It flies nice, looks nice, but that F-22 just doesn't. It's not as attractive, but what it does is just incredible.
Were you not tempted by their new MiG-29?
Yeah, I'm trying to be sensible, which is hard for me to say. Put me and that sensible in the same bracket, but yeah, I would love one, but I've not seen anything on YouTube yet to sort of make me really want to, run out and get one. And but no, I'm satisfied with the F-22.
You can have too many Foamies, I think.
Oh yeah, it's like being around the back of comics, isn't it? With all the TV packaging.
Yeah, just lots of polystyrene hanging around.
Yeah, they're so good though. Like everything, like even this SU-30 from E-Flight, the quality of them are so good. I don't know, you can see all that detail on them.
Yeah.
But they are exceptional. They're both. I wouldn't be surprised if they're all made in the same factory because they're all really good quality.
You've not been tempted to put a micro turbine in a Foamie?
Yeah, I actually turbined an SU-30 this year. That one below. I did a turbine conversion and it was really successful. It was absolutely amazing, actually, and that is the Achilles heel of that SU-30. Is, in my opinion, if that was 8-cell like the F-22 above, it would just make it just that much better. And that's just my opinion. But when you're flying off grass strips, the F-22 just whizzes off, and away you go. You can back off the throttle and enjoy. Where that SU-30, if you've gone out on a damp day or the club hasn't cut the grass, you've really got to give it a good old run to get it up in the air. But essentially, it is a lovely aeroplane. It tracks really well. It's just that the Raptor just outperforms it. It's got a huge flying envelope where you can literally bring in the nose right up at high alpha, and then you can just whiz it off and go flat out. It really is a great.
That's good to know. I hadn't heard that, and it's not something I would thought about buying actually. But now you've said that, I might.
Yeah,
so we've got some. Can I just tell you on chat? Dad's RC Hanger, a good friend of mine, is saying, "Let's talk about the lizard."
The lizard.
What's he talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. Lizard. Is that?
Lizard?
Is he talking about? Is that? What's that in the far right corner? That's not a lizard, is it? That's the Mephisto. So I think he's got his models confused there.
Yeah, that is half a Mephisto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was thinking it was an SAB Lizard. It's not.
Right, yeah. That's no. That is a Mephisto. No, I know the Lizard. It's 120 size, like a sport jet.
It's got those colours. I think that's what made him think it might be that. Anyway, shall we move on? I've just got a couple more of your fantastic jets to show the people here. Let me switch back to this browser and WebEx view. We're looking at your PC-21.
Yeah.
Which you no longer have, apparently.
No, I have it. No, I sold it on, obviously, because as much as I'd love to, I'd keep them all, but you know, it's one of those things where you know, you got to you know, you've got to be realistic, and you can't fly them all, so you enjoy it for the season, and else comes along like that.
You think we've lost you again? You've
and then you sort of you just keep sort of jumping from one stone to the next. You know, the PC-20 is
You're breaking up a lot, Steve, but we'll carry on. So we're watching Steve fly his PC-21, which actually has a jet engine. It's my understanding is the jet engine is kind of facing the wrong way and the jet exhaust goes onto an impeller, which spins the prop.
Get out there, it is incredible to fly, and it was a real experience owning it. A great plane, and it was built by Matt at Bishop Aviation. It is still, as far as I'm aware, of that style of model.
I think we've lost Steve temporarily again, but we did get a good run that time, actually. But learning a lot doing this live stream. Are you back with us, Steve? I can hear you coughing in the background. Steve? Right, so we spoke about the PC-21. Now this is an amazing jet, an F-100. And I think Steve actually told me how much it cost to put this together. And I'm not going to tell you how much, but it was a serious amount of money. So let's see if he's still with us. It's yes and no. So I will play this, but when he comes back, we'll just jump straight to him showing us around his SU-30. Carl, you might be right. I'm sure he'll rejoin us. I'm readmitting him.
Hey! Round 5.
Right, Steve. So what I was currently on was your F-100. Do you still own the F-100?
No, that's another one. That's that's owned by someone else now. That's we got rid of that last year.
Okay.
Now, with being overloaded with a lot of fast jets, which is in the same kind of bag as the F-104, it was a difficult decision. But the amount of times you get to fly said plane like the F-104, the F-100, you end up having a lot of money sitting on shelves. And this is the biggest problem, which I want to go on to, is what we struggle with in the UK is the runways and the accessibility to quality places to fly these are and this is the reason why a lot of these aircraft have gone, because it's getting more and more difficult. You know, the venues what we used to have 5 years ago, you was constantly there was an event to go to or a venue. You were so busy, but now we're getting more and more restricted. There's a couple of runways in the UK. The clubs are tightening up, so the people are like less open to sort of invite you in because of restrictions. It's the worst it's the worst it's been since I've been flying jets.
And why is that? Is it because of regulation and the land is being sold?
Land's being sold, regulations, alienation of our hobby. People don't want to take the risk. They don't want to sort of give us a chance. We've been very lucky recently with a couple of venues, but unlucky massively on other venues. So we've lost some real popular jet flying sites, which really been a massive impact. And that's what stopped aircraft like this, F-104, being used, because they're just not happy.
Fewer and fewer places to operate them and enjoy flying them. Yeah.
I've got one runway I've got access to fly that, and that is it. And it's not even that great condition. And anyone who's coming in, everyone really needs to be urged to try and push more. But in my opinion, politically speaking, in a way, I've been saying it for years that there's a lot of jet flyers in the country. We need to take it a bit more seriously and maybe try and.
The hobby in general, there needs to be the separation between people who are doing the hobby for fun and the professional side of it, using drones and whatever, and those people who just go out to create a nuisance and do it outside of a BMFA club. Now, Steve, before we go on, I would just say this WebEx has been going on for 15 minutes and it's going to get chopped any second. So I suggest that we drop out of it now and go back into the WebEx so we can take the next slice time. Okay, so I'll start the meeting again. Please, everybody else, hang around. This will literally just take a few seconds.
Okay.
See you in a moment, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Give me a moment. I'm just trying to get the WebEx window to show.
Hello.
Hello. I'm just trying to get the stream sorted out. It wouldn't be fun if it just worked, would it?
It would be great. What I'm going to do is I need to look at this internet because it's doing it to us a lot actually. Lately, it's great and then it goes really bad. And there's no one in the house at the moment. Hannah's been out, and I need to get
I've sorted that. We're back on the WebEx again, and we're back there, so we're good. Hey, Steve, these things happen. This is what live streaming is all about, and but we're having fun doing it. We're having a chat. I think we've got people who are enjoying the chat. Oh, we've had a tip from Dad's RC Hangar, $9.99. You seriously do? You didn't have to do that, but when I see you, I'm going to buy you a couple of beers. He's a lovely guy. This is Dad's RC Hangar. He's another YouTube channel that is as passionate, as enthusiastic as I am about YouTubing the hobby. And he's so thank you very much, sir. It's very much appreciated. Right, Steve, we should move on to your walk around.
Yes.
Your lovely new model. That's right. What we're.
Well, this is a Skymaster SU30, and I recently received it around about 2 months ago from being patiently waiting about a year for it to come from the company. And as it is here is how it comes from the factory. And this model was a plug and play variant, so all I've had to do, or which I'm doing currently at the moment, is plug in the servos in and programming the plane up. And
so hold on. When you say PNP, plug and play, when I get a Foamie that's plug and play, all I've got to do is drop in my receiver. Yes.
Yep, and that's what I've got to do.
What?
Plug in. Yep, this is a plug and play plane. Yeah,
no, really. So whether is the fuel system is in, the landing gear is in, the scale scheme is applied, all the servos are in, all the electronics. Yeah. The turbines are in.
No, I could have had that done, but I like to use the turbines of my choice. I could have sent in the turbines, but it's a lot of sending it to China, and I'm quite capable of putting a couple of turbines in. So. All I've got to do with this aircraft from when it come from Skymaster is to fit 2 turbines, my radio receivers, and the batteries which will power the turbines, and the power box system which controls all the electronics. The rest of it is all done, and I basically, without swearing, it's the very best. Very, very best I've ever seen. It's the first I've ever had a plug and play jet. Most of the time we use professional builders which throughout the country and overseas, and they do a great job. And obviously, this is a new approach which I took on, and I can't fault it. A good friend of mine, Steve Elias, come round to inspect it, just to have a first inspection before it's ready for its final inspection for the LMA. And he was that impressed, he's gone out and bought one himself. It's just at that kind of level. For major things for jet aircraft, which you can see here is slat, there is zero play. There's nothing. Every servo on this plane has been installed with no slop. And when you look at the way everything's been done, it's been done with care. It's very neat. It's not been just chuck that together and get it in the box.
And that's kind of surprising, isn't it? Because it is they are trying to knock out as many of these as possible. Yeah. I see a lot more of them on Facebook, so they are churning them out. So they've obviously got their QA sorted, haven't they?
They have. From my point of view, from a few years ago, Skymaster, they sort of hit a brick wall, and the Germans steamed ahead with these large aircraft. Airwhale, Tomahawk, they were leading the way. But Skymaster have pushed a hell of a lot of coal on their fire, and they are catching up and taking over. They've got some amazing jets lined up. They've producing this plane's 3.5 meters long, just to give you an idea, because it's that is from tip to toe. What you can see in that picture is 3.5 meters.
I'm looking at the spec on Skymaster now. It's 149 inches long, 3.8 meters long with the probe.
That's it, exactly that, yeah.
And wingspan is 96.7 inches, 2457 millimeters, so 2.5 meters wingspan. It's big. It's big.
It is a big lump. It really is, and I love every inch of it. It's just yeah, these guys at Skymaster are kicking ass. They've got an F-14 coming out next year, which is definitely on next year's Christmas list. So that will definitely be coming to the UK. I'm hoping me and my good friend Toby Newton will be both flying a couple together.
Lovely.
To see how the world treats us in the next 12 months.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, it's they are really just on fire at the moment.
Now, I have been asked, what radio system do you use? I mean, we're talking about serious kit here, so you don't want to be relying on, you need to be relying on your radio system 110%, right, without fault. So what do you use?
I use a radio system which is made by Powerbox called Core.
Right.
And it's slowly coming into its own, and it's been developing since it was launched about a year ago, maybe about 18 months, and it's getting better and better. It's going strength to strength, and there's loads of fantastic telemetry sensors you can put in. I can go over to my little cabinet here, and they do all sorts of this little gadget here is an air telemetry sensor, which will tell me exactly what PSI I've got in the undercarriage.
And can you set alarms, so if it dropped below a certain value?
Yeah, you can set alarms for that. So if you're flying and you know that your air's bleeding away and the alarm goes off at 80 PSI, you can just crack the gear down and come down and land.
Right.
And it's just, yeah, the radio system is really good. I was a bit unsure about it at first, but I'm warming to it more and more. And I've got great big club hands. I'm not the smallest of people. So, the Japanese radios are fantastic. I don't think there's much really between any of them, the top end radios. It's just preference. Yeah. But my hands fit around that radio, where the Japanese radios are designed for
small hands,
smaller hands, and where the German radio Core is designed by bigger people.
For weightlifters.
Yeah, big Germans. So yeah, I'm happy with it. It just took me a bit of time to get my head in tune with it. But yeah, it's good.
One other question: is there a system now so you know how much fuel you've got remaining? Because most of us are just doing it by a timed flight. Do you do something different?
No, I do something completely different. I time, but I use a fuel meter. You can get systems what will count your fuel, but there's a great gadget here, which I've got, and it's I haven't got a battery on it, but it's a digital flow meter, which is on my pump.
Right.
So when I fill the aircraft up, I know exactly what I've put in the plane. So especially with the Mephisto's got a huge engine in it. It's got a 320 Newton engine in it, a hover, but it slurps fuel. So when I fly it, I can refill it, and I know exactly what I've put back in it. So once I've landed, I plug the system up to it, and I know what the fuel tank capacity is from when I first filled it, which is, it's got 6 litres. So when I usually refuel it at around about 3.5 litres. So I know that I've got a lot of fuel left in it. So when I'm flying it, I know that if I have to stay up in the air, or with some of the locations we fly, there's light aircraft, and you might have to wait in the air and circle while the microlight lands and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on where it's nice to know what you've got, if you know what I mean.
Sure, but is there a system so that you know what you've got in the air? So because every flight is different.
I don't know. There's nothing. I think Jetty might have a system, but
it's not common then.
Yeah, there isn't really anything out there which is like a fuel gauge in a car. No.
Oh, okay. Maybe one day.
Yeah, I know there's lots of sensors coming for the UATs, which will tell you if your UAT's drying out and stuff. But 9 times out of 10, by the time the sensor's gone out, your airplane's flamed out and you're gliding already. So, yeah, that is definitely with that. It is if it's making a noise, you're okay, kind of thing.
Yeah, Steve. One last question, and then we'll let you go. Thrust vectoring. which is kind of a cool thing to have on a jet, because otherwise you're just doing normal loops and rolls and all that type of stuff. But tell us about the device you have to have on the back of the jet to achieve thrust vectoring, and what the gyro helps with.
Right. Okay. So I'll show you a vectoring unit. This Su-30's got twin vectoring units on it. So if you can see there, these are actuated by two very, very powerful servos. And basically what you do is you set the vector unit to the gyro independently, and then you have the moving surfaces set on another independent channel on the gyro. and then it's a bit of an act. I've had quite a bit of help from a very talented 3D jet pilot called Alex Rath. He helped us massively. But there's a few videos bobbing around on the internet of the Mephistos flying, and I put a few on my Facebook page as well. And it is a very fine art getting the setup right on the vectoring. It is a very once you've got it right, it's quite rewarding, because once you've got the plane balanced right and you've got everything on song, you need ultra fast servos and very powerful servos, which, you know, the ones what we've found the best are the Futaba 9177s, and the new JR company, the company which has taken over JR Radio, they brought out an 8311 or something like that, which is another outstandingly good servo, which everyone seems to be using. But when it comes to the 3D vectoring, it's an interesting thing. I've been doing it for probably around I'd say about 3 years now, going back to when I started with the J10s, and it's been quite addictive. And once you get to understand the behaviour of the way the aircraft, what it does under vector, it's quite it's a bit like I don't know whether it's like what these guys do when they jump in with sharks and that, but yeah, it's a bit like you shouldn't be doing it, but you keep going back for more. Yeah,
because you're on the edge of the flight envelope of the aircraft, aren't you? It's like spinning a plate, isn't it? It takes a lot of, even though the gyro's helping you, it does take a lot of skill to achieve it, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can set the gyros up in one way. You can put a gyro in and put it on heading hold and let it do everything for you, but you can't do intermediate 3D with it. So, which is basically all high alpha and stuff like that, because the gyro it can't really work out where it's going and what it's doing at that speed. So heading hold sort of goes out the window.
So heading hold is good for bolt upright vertical hovering, but not what we like to see, which is the high alpha with smoke on coming down the flying strip, right?
Yeah, with this, I can pick it up onto high alpha like this, and I can just guide it around the sky and just 45 degrees and just nurse it around, and it'll have a little rock, but 9 times out of 10 it settles down, and you can do pretty much whatever. But if you was to go out and buy a recommended setup, you would put it in the plane, and it would want you to do 100% on the rudder, 100% on the elevator vector unit, and then you'd go into a vector maneuver, and there's so much over movement, the plane just fidgets around everywhere. We're down to about 60% gain on the Mephisto, which is lower. So we worked really hard over about 2 years. I so many near misses, and I don't know how I've got away with it really, but we're at a stage now where I fly. Me and Steve Elias have got identical planes, and we have a real good laugh when we get together. And it's
flying them at the same time, doing the same thing.
Yeah, we've been pushing each other along, and every time Steve goes out and flies, and I don't fly, he rings me up. He's going, "Oh yeah, I've got it to do this. It's doing that now." We used to have a stage where you couldn't even fly the plane on knife edge because it would flick on you and that. And we've managed to get over so many hurdles. And
by trial and error.
It is trial and
and
error,
flying it a lot to find out what it does and how you make it do different things. That's the fun part of flying a jet like that, right?
It is really rewarding when you get a plane and you can get it to hover in front of you, and you're sitting there looking at it and it's like a few feet away from you. It really does give you a good high.
A buzz. I bet it does, yeah.
Buzz, yeah. It really does, yeah.
Steve, I think we've taken enough of your time.
No, it's fine. I've really enjoyed it, and thanks to anyone who's watching, and thanks very much.
I think we've had a lot of comments. You can watch the live stream back, Steve, if you like. But thanks to everybody else that's tuned in and been watching. Thanks, Dad's RC Hanger, for the super chat. It's a tip in YouTube terms. That's very kind.
Yep.
I owe him a beer, and he belongs to one of my local clubs, so I'll meet him up soon. But Steve, thanks again. Hang there. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody and end the live stream, and let's have a chat afterwards. But thanks everybody for dialing in. We'll do something like this again. I think it works really well, and it's just in these times when we're going through lockdown, it's really interesting to see what people are preparing for next year. So if there are any pilots out there who'd like to do the same thing on the Essential RC YouTube channel, then get in touch. It'd be really good to show what projects you're working on during these tough times of COVID pandemic. So thanks again, take care, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.